What's up, guys? So in this video I'm going to tell you how to prevent this and give you two other tank care items to do when you're maintenance or whatever, when you're working on the ZX10R tank, things you do not want to do or make sure you do right. Alright, so let's roll the intro and I'll get back. So here is my ZX10R tank. Started missing at a track day. Actually, it was two track days. The first track day it kind of missed. I forgot about it. I went to the second track day and at lean the bike was cutting out. I mean, it was like missing. I thought, oh, spark plugs. I get home and this is what I find. So if you look, there's really no visible sign that this tank is damaged. All right, so I couldn't see it at the track, but definitely imploded, and I'm going to tell you what caused it. So what caused the tank implosion? Here's my ZX10R replacement tank. I'm going to show you. There are two hoses. There are two hoses at the bottom of the tank. When you put this tank back on, it's imperative and important that you route them to where they don't get pinched. It's very easily done. What I did, as you can see, I moved this hose to run down the right side of the bike, and this hose to run down the left side of the bike. You can see where they attach on my old tank. They actually attach here and here, and what those do is it's an overflow. All right, so what those do is it's an overflow and it's a vent. So as your fuel pump runs, it allows air to come get sucked in or replace the fuel, and keeps your tank from imploding. If your tank is not vented correctly, your tank will implode. There is enough suction pressure on your fuel pump to pull the sides in. Example 1. All right. Number two thing to do when it comes to ZX10R, very important. The bolts that hold your tank to the frame, do not replace those bolts and make sure they go back. What happens is if you get a different bolt that fits the threads and it's a little longer, you will actually screw it in until you puncture the tank. And I can tell you from experience, you will puncture the tank. I did it on my first one way back in the day. This bike's so 2011, I've had it for 8 years, so it has seen a lot of different problems. But yeah, whatever bolts you come out of here, fasteners, make sure you use the right length. You do not want to use one that's too long, you'll puncture the tank. So that's number 2. All right, number 3, back to it. Number 3, your fuel hose. When you put your fuel tank back, make sure that hose isn't kinked. It's common for the hose to get kinked or pinched. Once that hose is kinked or pinched, what you begin to see is the engine starts for fuel, and you'll start getting missing or feel like it doesn't have power, or it won't rev past a certain RPM. If you've just had your tank off, make sure you check that, because it's another common problem or common issue. All right, so I'm going to go over them again before I close. Number 1, make sure the tank is vented. These hoses here, one's an overflow and one's a vent. Make sure that your tank's hoses aren't kinked. Number 2, the bolts, the fasteners for your tank. Do not use ones that are longer. Make sure you get the right ones back. And number 3 is when you put your tank back on, ensure that your fuel hose is not kinked. Alright guys, so that's just a short video. It's hot in the garage, I'm sweating, I still got to get a new tire, put on this bike. And anyway, while I was out here doing maintenance, I wanted to make sure I covered this because it'll save you a lot of heartache in the future. I mean, I have done every one of these, so it's just things to look out for. Alright.